The state of the culture. What is the state of the culture? You have people discussing, once again, people are discussing whether our Latino brothers were at the forefront of starting and creating hip hop. A lot of people have a problem with that. I personally don't. Because I don't have time to be doing DEA, just general investigations, trying to figure out who should be given the credit. The streets started hip hop. We all know that. But for some odd reason, this is a debate, an ongoing debate. And it kind of took somewhat the Jay-Z God did on DJ Khaled's new album. I think it's entertaining. I think you can have a debate like this, but for the most part, who's really counting? Who's really benefiting from this? Yes, I acknowledge everybody who contribute to the hip hop culture. I acknowledge everyone who took that risk, a dream that they had when they heard this music, when they heard their first hip hop song or hip hop track, beat, or experienced their first hip hop experience, and manifest that into a dream of theirs to become part of the conversation, become part of history, and do something they love and aspire to do. So whether I didn't look at it whether they're Latino, whether they're black, or whether this, that, and the other, whatever race, man. But know for sure, it's definitely in the people's hands. And some might say from the beginning in the people's hands that are not really born or raised in those streets that where it came out of. So that's a debate too. But they have it. They're the gatekeepers of it now. When corporations get involved, it's a thin line. It's a fine line because, one, you're looking for a deal. You're shopping your product, your record, your demo to try to get a deal. And you normally shop them. You go to the radio stations who are owned by the corporations, the industry. And then you're trying to eat, man. You're trying to get in a better situation than where you come from. And so I can't really criticize someone who takes the deal. I can criticize someone who don't read their contract, because all money ain't good money, and you have to read your contract. You have to go about, if you want to get into this business of hip hop and entertainment, you have to be a professional from day one. You have to look at it like that. And some of these kids and some of these guys, they know they're hungry. They want to get in this music business, and they want to be singers, stars. They're dreaming about success. And you have a lot of these different so-called managers and gatekeepers who lead these young men and women down the wrong path. And a lot of these people, they're heartbreaking stories in regards to they sign these contracts that really not beneficial to them. They get peanuts while not the radio stations, but the corporations get millions. And the radio stations are part of the corporation, so they get millions too, because when they play these songs that they make hits, advertisers, corporations get in touch with the radio stations and get ads because they know people are listening because they want to hear the hits. They play the 5 songs that they normally play or how many CDs they're allowed to play per day during peak hours and all that. So it's a tough business to crack. You can get blackballed. You can get kicked out the whip. I mean, look at Nicki Minaj. You know, she was kicked out the whip, obviously. And shout out to her because she just had a #1 single. I like to give her accolades because I like Nicki Minaj. But yeah, man, it's a fickle business with the public. Your 15 minutes of fame can be. It depends on you. You have to put the work in. You know, like Tupac Shakur, Jay-Z, Biggie was putting the work in. Busta Rhymes, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. All these greats put the work in. Were their situations ideal for them? No. So, you know, they had some issues with their business side of things. You know, Death Row Records had issues. Tupac Shakur had issues, and as you know, Snoop even had issues with the label. Dre left the label to start his own thing. Jay-Z, when he was coming up, when he decided he wanted to kind of transition from the streets and get into the music business, rapping, he had issues trying to, you know, him and his crew, Dame, just famously, they held doors closed. So it's all these egos in these higher echelons of corporations that need their egos massaged. And some people are not willing to, you know, go through all that hobnobbing, so to speak, and doing all that just to get their records on the radio. So you go the independent route. It works. Sometimes it's in conjunction with, like, say for instance, Jay-Z's situation with Def Jam, you know, Rockefeller Records. So they kind of had somewhat a deal. They can kind of operate kind of independently under the umbrella of Def Jam, if I'm not mistaken, but it worked out. And still, there were drama. So the record business, like Q-Tip said, is shady. And you have to be on top of your business. And even when you're on top of your business, people have a certain, they feel a certain way about that. Well, who this guy think he is? He think he, you know, so you have to be patient. There's a lot of BS, but it's a lot of reward too, especially if you believe in yourself and you think if you're putting out good music, the world will get in touch with it. The world will find good music. If you're consistently putting out good music, the world will listen and it will demand more. So now you have the consistency. You have to be consistent in your output. The great Tupac Shakur was consistent in his output. People don't like to talk about, but they talk about his Death Row success. But his pre-Death Row success was just as great. So, you know, he had Strictly for My Niggas album. You had Tupac Was Now and Me Against the World. You know, great albums. And he found his pocket for Death Row. But imagine Tupac, I'm just trying to think. Imagine Tupac would have went to J. Prince. So, how that would have turned out. As opposed to Death Row with that drama. Hard to argue because he blew completely off the Richter going under the flag of Death Row. But his real fans know he was already bubbling. He was already a star prior to Death Row. So those are just a little bit of examples that you can kind of take if you're trying to get into the music business. Don't be deterred. You have to stay steadfast in your belief, in your music. You have to work. Your content has to be pristine, and you're not always going to, hit. But if you do consistent music, true to consistent music, man, you got a lot of stuff when you get, these major deals, man. Because labels want to control your music, as you know. They want to control what singles they're going to put up. How much creative control do you have? So that's why it comes back to looking at your contract before you sign a deal. See what your publishing is. Is there an opportunity for me to get my masters? Is there an out for me to get that if things go awry here and I want to see a better deal? If I outgrow this contract and some other offers on the table that I know, if I fulfill my album agreement with this record label, is there a chance that I can acquire my masters? And so, so you can get paid down the road. There's a lot of horror stories with hip hop, man. People are making billions off this music, that we created. And when I say we, the whole village, the whole community, whether you're Latino, whether you're Jamaican, whether you're Caribbean, whether you're African, whether you're Asian, it doesn't matter to me. You're part of the family. As long as you do right by the music, you don't make a mockery of it, like certain people, you're good. And it's just you connecting with your audience. And like I said, putting consistent, pristine content out. So I don't have a problem with who created it. I don't. It's not my argument. I'll let the people in New York City handle that because it's more of their argument, especially people in the Bronx, because they created it. They started in the Bronx. I'm just saying, as a person that's gravitate to the culture rather early in its beginning stages, somewhat late 70s, early 80s through present. I have issues with a lot of different things who don't take that culture serious. I have issues with the corporations because of some fact how they handle the funds, how they treat their artists, and respecting their artists. Don't send me some kid that doesn't really care about the music, some rock and roller kid or metalhead who really doesn't care about our music and have him try to direct my career. I'm gonna have a problem with that. But for the most part, you just have to, like I said, stay fast. But we're out here, man. We're just out here, and we're just out here just trying to create different content and always trying to push the culture forward, as they say. And I don't say that as some type of slogan. I don't get paid to say that. But I'm looking for the next big thing. I'm looking for someone who's not afraid to take the culture by the horns and just lead it to a great place, to another level. Not the cookie cutter artists, So, but there's a lot of great artists. You got Lil Baby, you have D-Baby, you have Durk, you have NBA Youngboy, Kodak Black. You got J.I.D., who has a terrific album, by the way. Saba, who has a great album. Denzel Curry. There's a lot of artists, man, people are going to gravitate to. Now, music, as us so-called old heads, we might not vibe with their music, but I respect their music. I respect their hustle because I know how hard it is. I know it's hard for them to meet these press dates to be on these press runs, to be in these different cities, to travel here and there. It's not always, sugar and cream. You have to have some grinds in your coffee when you want to be a superstar in this music. You cannot, you gotta show up. You gotta post. You hanging out all night. You still got a 9 o'clock press run. You have a photo shoot. You have whatever you might do in your community. Whether it's giving away backpacks for the youth for back to school, all these nice things, all these good feel good things that you have to do. And it's a job, but you still have to put grind in on both ends to stay viable, visible for your future fans. And you have to have diversity to your music. I've always been a person who loves artists who have pain in their music. I want to hear pain. I want to hear some heartfelt. I don't want to hear you winning all it, because I know everyone is not winning all the time. There's some dark places that people have. I want to hear about those. I want to hear about what you think about. I want to hear if you're depressed. I just don't want to hear about plug talk all the time. I just don't want to hear about how many people you killed in a week. And I want to hear complexities, some different subjects, like I said, that you can take me to, that I can say, man, I feel him. Or I feel her on that one. I want you to touch me. And the great Tupac Shakur was able to do that. The great Biggie Smalls was able to do that. You have Nas, who people want to keep in this little Illmatic crack pipe and want him to stay in that lane. Nas is diverse. His content is, people say, oh, Nas is boring. I said, no, he's not. He's not boring. I said, he's giving you a great message. He's showing you how to go from A1 to present day. And he's doing great. He had his ups and downs as far as, adversity, dealing with his mom's passing, going through drama with his personal, family life. And he's able to keep going. You understand what I'm saying? That's a real Don. You go through turmoil, triumphs, but can you persevere? A lot of people can't. That's the difference. What makes a true superstar, and someone who's just in it for the fame, the clubs, the money, all that. But Nas believes in his music. He believes in his rhymes. He believes in his content. The same with Biggie Smalls. Biggie gave you pain in his first album. 50 Cent. Shout out to 50 Cent. 50 Cent gave you pain in his first album. That's why it sold like it sold. People miss that. And not saying that it has to be all gloom and doom. There's some party joints. We get all that. But I want to hear what's really going on. What are we really talking about? You know what I mean? What part in your life did you felt like you was stuck between a rock and a hard place? What made you go from here to this mindset? What was the cause? What was the reason? What was the cause and effect? And that's what we're talking about when we talk about hip hop. Because that's what hip hop is. It's from the streets where you see everything unfiltered, pure dope, no cut. You understand what I'm saying? You see the grime of the grime. You see Ghetto Fabulous, Richie Rich. But what you don't see is me prepping, trying to get to this class, or missing the train, waking up late because I'm partying in the club, or I got this lady friend over and I spent all night dealing with her. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear music like that. Pain. That's how people resonate to your content. They want to hear that, man. But be you at the same time, incorporate it with your personality, because I can peep out a fake. So you have to be genuine with your content. You have to be believable. You have to come off believable and honest and raw. See, I dig it. You reserve, you're not comfortable yet, fine. Put it in your writings though. Just put little things, little hints, little jewels, little gems in your music. We're talking about the state of hip hop in 2022. Shout out to Young Thug, Gunner. Keep your head up, man. Miss Fanny, she's on the rampage. She's trying to clean her city up, man. The violence it's at an all-time high to be in Atlanta, which is like a oasis for us black people, us Moors, as they say. But she's got to do what she got to do, and so you guys got to do what you got to do. Defend yourself with vigor. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your square. By all means, man. Do what you got to do to get out of your situation. We're talking. And I love this music, man. I love it. I get mad at it, but I still love it. I still hold on. I still hold on to the fact it's hip hop. It's our music, man. That's it for me. Early Saturday morning, top of the top. Peace, love, freedom. One.